Welcome to this Mindful Monday. Welcome to Mindful Monday, episode 6 on mindfulness of Dharmas. We're going to look at the factors of enlightenment or awakening. That's what we're going to look at. So we're going to kind of define what is enlightenment and then what are the 7 factors. We'll go through each one and then do a meditation on them and an invitation to do the work. Okay, so what is enlightenment? We've heard the word nirvana. What actually is it? So from the Buddha said these 7 factors of enlightenment, kasaba, are well expounded by me, cultivated and much developed by me. And when cultivated and much developed, they conduce to full realization, perfect wisdom, to nirvana. We still don't really know what they are, and what it actually means to be enlightened. So let's have a look at that. So what are the 7 factors of enlightenment? Mindfulness, edge of investigation, energy, joy, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. So what is enlightenment? It's been described as many things, as this moment of awakening. But if we don't know what it is, how are we going to know when we got there? So Buddha actually gave a teaching on those 7 factors of enlightenment in accordance with his own experience of getting to realization and perfect wisdom and this nirvana. So it really can be determined as many things, but if we go through those 7 factors, we're more likely to understand a bit more about it. We could summarize it as just freedom from attachments, non-clinging, internal bliss, happiness that's on a sustained level, it's not going up and down and in accordance with external conditions. Let's look at the 7 factors one by one. So there's mindfulness, investigation, energy, joy, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. So the first factor, and it is in kind of a sequential order as well, because you really must have this sati, this mindfulness first. And that's sort of constant mindfulness, being aware and vigilant of what is about to happen or what you're about to do. So avoiding ill will and performing good. it's this presence of mind and watchfulness of mind when you've developed it. And here's a quote saying, it's like the salt as is to the curry. It's essential. You must have it in the curry. So right mindfulness or complete awareness in a way is superior to knowledge, because in the absence of mindfulness, it is just impossible for a man to make the best of his learning. Intelligence devoid of mindfulness tends to lead man astray and entice him from the path of rectitude and duty. So let's look at factor 2, investigation, insight. It's the sharp analytical knowledge of understanding the true nature of all constant things, animate or inanimate, human or divine. It's seeing things as they really are. So it's this looking at things from a proper perspective and analysing things as you go, of all the components to get to the fundamental elements right down to their ultimates. So through keen investigation, one understands that all compounded things pass through in the inconceivably rapid moments of arising, reaching a peak and ceasing, just as a river in flood sweeps to a climax and fades away. It's getting that understanding. So factor 3 is energy. The function of energy is fourfold, and this can be achieved through right effort. The effort to eradicate evils that have arisen in the mind, the effort to prevent the arisings of unrisen evil, the effort to develop unrisen good, the effort to promote the further good already arisen. Factor 4 is joy, rapture, piti, they call it happiness, joy, and contentment. So if you don't have this quality, you can't proceed on the path to enlightenment. That's it. So contentment is a characteristic of the really happy individual. Factor 5, tranquility. So passaddhi is twofold. It's calm of the body and means all the mental properties rather than the physical body. In other words, the calming of the aggregates of feeling, perception, volitional activities, or confirmations. It's the aggregate of consciousness. Factor 6, concentration, samadhi. So concentration is the intensified steadiness of the mind, comparable to an unflickering flame of lamp in a windless place. So it's that concentration of mind that fixes the mind aright and causes it to be unmoved and disturbed. So correct practice of samadhi maintains the mind and the mental properties in a state of balance. Factor 7, final factor, is equanimity. And this is the result of a calm, concentrated mind. We go through life with the 8 winds, 8 worldly winds. But this is, once you've cultivated this, the person does not get upset about those worldly winds. You're able to deal with them one by one. So now let's do a meditation on the 7 factors of awakening. So getting into a comfortable position for this meditation, either sitting on the floor or on the chair with your legs uncrossed, keeping the back nice and upright, and just half closing the eyes, placing one hand on top of the other, just resting your hands on your thighs. Taking a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, relaxing your shoulders. On the next inhale, scanning the body from the head all the way down to the toes. Now checking in with the mind, and just note what's there. Putting any worries or concerns aside, like taking your shoes off before entering a building, just putting them aside while we set our intention for this meditation practice. To get present to mindfulness of truth, the Dharma, the Buddha's teaching. Getting present to what enlightenment is and the 7 factors. So the first one is mindfulness. So let's get present to what it's like to be fully aware in each moment, knowing what we're doing, having this bare attention, seeing clearly, being able to discern what's skillful and what's not. And just be with what it feels like to be mindful. And now get present to the absence of mindfulness. What it feels like to be in an automatic mode, just reacting, playing out the old stories and patterns without getting present to the consequences. What does that feel like? Now getting present to the feeling of investigation when you take time to look at where things are coming from, what the cause is of any thought or action, and the benefits that it brings. When you're aware of something, you can change it. Now get present to the absence of investigation, what it feels like to be blinded and just stuck in thought loops, going round and round on the same thing. Now bringing the third factor to mind of energy. Imagine what it's like to have lots of energy, be vibrant, alert, awake. Lots of positive energy. And what it feels like for yourself and those around you. Now get present to the absence of energy. So being deflated, lethargic, not wanting to do anything, not being able to think clearly. Just get present to that. And now bringing the fourth factor to mind, joy, putting a smile on your face. And just feeling that joy and contentment, the joy of knowing, the joy of having the wisdom to accept yourself and to accept those around you. What does it feel like? And now get present to the absence of joy. So perhaps sadness, disappointment. Get present to what it feels like. And now bringing the fifth factor of awakening to mind, tranquility. This calmness, quiet, inner peace, external peace. Get present to what it feels like. And now get present to the absence of tranquility, busyness and noisiness and restlessness of the mind. What does that feel like? Now getting present to concentration, the sixth factor of awakening. Being able to focus with precision, laser sharp, being able to take things in, being able to study on one thing at a time. What does it feel like? And now get present to the absence of concentration, where the mind is distracted, going on one thing to the next. This busyness of mind, not being able to take things in, or get things done. Just get present to that feeling. And then finally, the seventh factor of awakening, equanimity. This feeling of balance, calmness, peace, and clarity. Seeing things as the way they are. Seeing the interconnectedness of all things, all sentient beings. liking or disliking, not favouring one over the other. Just being in this state of equanimity. And now getting present to absence of equanimity, where you do favour one over the other. And there's not much balance, it's all or nothing thinking, either this way or that way. What does that feel like? Now getting present to all of the factors of awakening. Getting present to the fact that they are attainable. Buddha was a human being. Everyone has the opportunity to become enlightened. And these factors of awakening will grow as your practice grows. The next inhale, just scan the body from the head all the way down to the toes. Now just check in with the mind and just note what's there. What mind state are you in? Is it different to when you started? Just note what it is and then get present to the felt experience, that mind state. And then perhaps investigate where it's come from. And then just letting go. Getting ready to open your eyes and come back into the room. So get present to your experience. Were you able to experience some of those factors of awakening during the meditation? And if so, what feelings came up? What was the felt experience? So we're going to look at now what currently holds you back from enlightenment. It's worth actually looking into this in accordance to basically overcome some of the obstacles. So when we did this discussion, we actually came up with these things. Some of the obstacles are on the path. Ego, the 5 hindrances were there, the procrastination, I'll get started tomorrow, the addiction, health issues, and the list goes on. So how do we overcome them? Well, it comes back to the 5 hindrances. So sensual desire, recognize what you can and can't control. And just simplify your life. It will free you from delusions. Distinguish between your needs and your wants. Antidote to ill will, shift the focus of anger to the suffering of the situation, yours and others. Notice the responses to pain and give it love. Recognize anger, fear, disappointment, and guilt. So caress the anger like a baby and do a breathing meditation to calm down. The antidote to sloth and torpor, not to make it your enemy, get your body to sleep. If your body needs sleep, it needs sleep. So focus also on the breath and concentration. Restlessness, if that's coming up, understand it comes from energetic imbalance. Simplify your experience. Come back to the senses, feel the breath and get present. And make it a goal to harness it, not to dissipate it. If you can ground it and channel it more mindfully, you'll be responding skillfully. Antidote to doubt, sustaining attention. Connect with what is going on and break it down to manageable chunks. Put a time frame on it and recognize doubt as doubt. Be open to learning to overcome that doubt and be your own scientist. Test it out for yourself. So here's what Deepak Chopra says on enlightenment. There are only two symptoms, just two indications that a transformation is taking place within you toward a higher consciousness. The first symptom is you stop worrying. Things don't bother you anymore. You become light-hearted and full of joy. The second symptom is that you encounter more and more meaningful coincidences in your life and more synchronicities. This accelerates to the point where you actually experience the miraculous. Any questions? Just get in touch. Here's the invitation to do the work. So get present to the felt experience of those 7 factors of awakening. You could do a meditation on each one. Research into it a bit more. Watch a Dharma talk on each factor. You can assess where you are with them on your journey. So you could put a grading on them, on a scale of joy, 1 to 10, where do you sit currently? And then just continue the practice. Here's some resources. How the Buddha got enlightened is one thing you could watch. You can look at what does it take to reach enlightenment, Sadhguru. And you can also look at the 7 factors of enlightenment too. The next topic is understanding the I and the pitfalls of the ego.